All right. So we're hopefully everybody's gotten connected in through Skype, and we'll get started. Once again, this is the PokerEdge webinar, and we're going to be meeting the founders and inventors of PokerEdge today and get an insider's view of the product, its creation and evolution, and a live demo. And we'll have hopefully a lot of time for questions and answers towards the end, and actually along the way as well. So in terms of webinar controls, you should be able to use this little control here you see, and click on that rascal and it'll fold up out of your way, or you can click on it and it'll open back up out to the left, and then you can come down to the question and answer box and type in your questions and go ahead and get your questions queued up for us once we get into a little closer to the Q&A part of the segment here of the webinar. So what I'd like to do now is open up the line and get the PokerEdge folks back on. Let me see if I can enable audio for Jason. Jason, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me, Rick?
Yep, I sure can. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. We've got Jason and Chad here from PokerEdge. I thought I would just turn it over to you to introduce yourselves and say a little bit about what you do for the PokerEdge folks.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Jason. I'm one of the original founders and director of operations of PokerEdge. And I'm also here with Chad. Hey, guys. How are you doing?
All right, guys. Well, welcome, and we really appreciate you taking the time to join us here. So, Jason, you and I had talked about this ahead of time, and thought you were going to maybe take us through kind of the background and story behind PokerEdge and tell us a little more about it.
Sure. So basically, I used to be a big poker player. I also have a mathematics and computer background. So back in the day, I was playing a lot of poker, live poker, and I started playing online poker, and I found it interesting that we're playing with all these new faces. I didn't have any data on any of these players. I couldn't take notes, didn't know how they played, and so I started out with me and a bunch of my poker friends. We started sharing notes on these players, and we would take notes on different players. Some were good players, bad players, strengths and weaknesses, and we would share them, write them all down, pass them around. It became pretty tedious, and there's so many players online that it wasn't really maintainable. So we decided that we needed to automate this system. So it kind of evolved to the point where we started collecting hand histories and on all the different games that were getting played. And from my mathematics background, we started crunching the numbers and producing statistics from these hand histories. And we started running a program that would just basically present these numbers to the poker player while he's playing to show him how all the players at the tables play. And that's kind of how PokerEdge evolved from over time. In the very beginning, it was very primitive. You would have to type in a player's name directly to find his stats and his profile. And it's advanced quite a long way. Nowadays, you just open up a table and it shows you automatically who all the people at your table are. It shows you their historical data, their strengths and weaknesses, and it shows you all this directly on the table while you play. So it's very convenient to use nowadays.
Yeah, I'll say. So, in terms of why do you think it's really different? I mean, what from your perspective? There's a lot of poker odds calculators. We've got one. There's tons of them on the market, but seems to me like there's quite a bit of difference with PokerEdge.
Yeah, it's a very good question. There's a lot of products out there on the market today. PokerEdge is actually a very unique product. It's the only one of its kind out there. The main reason for this is because we utilize a central database. What this means is that players that you see that you've never played against before, we already have data on them. We're tracking over 3 million players in our database from the history of over 100 million hand histories. So that's quite a large database that you get to tap into with the PokerEdge software.
Wow.
A lot of programs out there are stats trackers where you can only see data of the players that you've played against directly or that you've watched on your own. But with PokerEdge, you get this central database and the power of all the different users plus our own servers that are collecting data 24 hours a day.
So are you collecting that data while people are running PokerEdge, or do you have other ways that you're always collecting data? How's the data collected?
It actually comes from both sources, like you said. We have a farm of servers basically running around the clock, tons of servers that are just what we call data mining, harvesting hand histories, crunching the numbers and putting them into our database. and then we also have the users that are using PokerEdge. Their hands go into the database also, so you're guaranteed to have 100% of the hand histories that you directly played.
Wow.
In addition to the hands that everyone else has played and the ones that we're collecting in our farm.
Oh, so you actually collect and crunch the hand histories off of our local machine while PokerEdge is running?
Yes, that's correct.
Oh, wow. Okay, I didn't know that. And then you said the other hand histories. Do you get like feeds or something from the poker sites, or how do you get the other hand histories? I'm just curious.
Well, we automate the process, but basically we have some proprietary software that we developed that literally just goes through the tables and watches them and uploads them to our servers and, crunches the numbers.
Oh, okay. Wow. Interesting. So I know one of the things that really caught my eye recently was LobbyEdge, and one of the things that I've always found in playing cash games, especially, is table selections like really critical, and it's sort of hit or miss when you just use the basic stats that you get in a typical poker room. And one of the things I really liked about LobbyEdge, is very excited about it, was the fact that it can go through and sort of sniff out the sharks and the fish, and help actually direct me much faster to more profitable tables, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, one of the things about online poker is there are literally thousands of tables to play at any given time. And most people just randomly open a table, sit down, play, have some fun. Now, if the table you open happens to be an easy table, which is what we found to be less than 5 or 10% of all tables out there, you might have a good session. But if you happen to sit at a table with a lot of tough players, chances are you're not going to have as good of a session. Now, what LobbyEdge does is it utilizes our massive database of player statistics and combines that with the real-time information of who is sitting at what table at any given time, and it tells you, like, in an instant, exactly which tables are the best ones to sit at, and it rates them based on a star rating. So the best tables will have a 5-star rating, and there might only be a handful of those, and the other hundreds, thousands of tables will all have like 4, 3, 2, or 1 stars, and those are the tables that you might have sat at if you didn't have LobbyEdge.
Wow, yeah, exactly. And it's amazingly fast. Well, I can't wait to actually see it, Jason. So let's see here. Let's go ahead and jump into the demo. I'm anxious to actually see what you're talking about. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. It's probably more than that in poker. Let me see if I can pass you over control here and make you the presenter where we can see your screen over there in Austin. Okay, so you should be the presenter. Yep, I can see your screen now, Jason. So over to you.
All right, great. I'm just going to do a quick demonstration of PokerEdge so everyone can see what it's about. I already have PokerEdge installed on my computer. Normally you would download it from our website. We have a free trial. You can download it for free and start it. Double-click the PokerEdge icon. Here's the login screen. If you don't have a username or password, you click the free trial button. You can use it free for 5 days. I'm going to log in. Here's a little welcome screen, give you some announcements. Now, this is the place where we select which room we're going to play at. We support over 150 poker rooms, including most of the big ones. Today we're going to play at Full Tilt Poker for this demonstration. I select Full Tilt and then click Launch. Full Tilt Poker starts up along with the main components of PokerEdge. So over here we got the lookup window and the main window where you can do a manual search on a player. So to get started, Rick was talking about the LobbyEdge plugin. I'm going to fire that up by clicking here, launch LobbyEdge.
So now, hey Jason, just
to help us find the easiest tables to play at.
Got a quick question. Jason, yeah, I got a quick question for you. So I noticed you launched the Full Tilt Poker site using PokerEdge. Is there some reason for that versus just launching them both separately?
Yeah, PokerEdge attaches to the Full Tilt Poker client, so it can see the data coming through in real time. That's how we determine who's sitting at what table and process the hand histories, things like that. It's how it attaches to the game.
Okay, all right, that makes sense. All right, yeah, please continue. Just curious.
So I got LobbyEdge started here, and it's very simple. You define what site you want to play at. We're doing Full Tilt Poker. You could do all three at the same time if you want. We're going to play a short-handed table, so 3 to 6 players, 50-cent dollar, no limit, and I'm just going to hit search.
So you support a wide range of stakes there. You didn't really open that up, but I assume you support a pretty good full range of both micro and higher limit as well.
Every stake out there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, wow. Good.
Okay, so Lobby Edge returned, and the column we're most interested in here is the rating column, where it gives it 5 to 1 stars, indicates the quality of the table. Now you can see from this list we have 3 really good tables, 1 mediocre table, and then a bunch of pretty bad tables that you don't want to play at. Now you can imagine if you did random selection, you probably would not pick one of these good tables. Now you can expand the table to see which players are sitting there by clicking the plus sign on the left. You can see different stats for each player. The most important stat, in my opinion, is VP$IP, which stands for how often they voluntarily put money into the pot. It's an indicator of how tight or loose they are, how often they see the flop. So a looser table is a better table. More players seeing the flop, more action.
So what's the red and green number on the right there, the winnings column?
This shows you how many or how much each player has won or lost over his history as tracked by our database. The numbers are highlighted in green because they're losing players. Obviously, you want to play against more losing players, so we highlight them in green. And red players are winning players, which you don't want to play against. And that's just one factor that goes into Lobby Edge's algorithm to determine whether a table is good or not. There's several different factors that go into play there. Okay,
but you pretty much dumb it down and just summarize it with your star rating system, so it makes it really easy to pick the best table.
Exactly, and the rating system is also fully customizable. You can change the rules if you want to alter them to your preferences.
Mm-hmm.
But it comes with a default value, which we think is pretty accurate.
So you've got a W and L. Is that winners and losers at the table, or is that current session, or is that historical? What does that really indicate?
Historically winning players and historically losing players. So the table's got 4 losers and 1 winner, which is good.
Yeah, okay. Excellent. Okay, cool.
Another cool thing about Lobby Edge is you can sit at the table directly, or you can join the waitlist or sit at the table directly by just right-clicking on the table. You can select join waitlist. So instead of looking for that table name in the poker lobby and manually finding it and then clicking join waitlist, you can quickly use Lobby Edge to get on the waitlist for all the good tables. Like normally, I'd probably just get on the waitlist for all 3 of these players, or for all 3 of these tables. And then you can open the table directly from Lobby Edge. I'm just going to right-click and say open table, and the table's going to open up.
Nice. Okay.
There it goes. Alright, so now that I used Lobby Edge to find a good table to play at, Poker Edge is waiting for the next hand to start before it gets the player stats for everybody.
Okay. So next hand looks like it's about to start. So I see that looks like a bunch of information's popped up.
Yeah, these boxes next to each player and the little icon, that's what we call the heads-up display. It shows up in real time on your game screen on your table while you're playing, so you can quickly access all the key statistics and see how each player plays. And you can even hover your mouse over the icon to get more detailed information. Here you see hands played, when he was last seen, how much money he's won or made, a bunch of key stats.
So that's the legend in that upper left corner there. Is that right?
Yeah, this is the legend up here. You can see the number in the upper left is hands played. For Speed Wolf, it's 834. And then VP$IP is the number underneath that, which is how tight or loose they are. For her, it's 39.3, and so on and so forth. Some good numbers here are blind steal, how often they fold their small blinds of steal, and how often they fold their big blind of steal. You can see if you can steal their blinds or not, or whether they'll try to steal yours. That's pretty good for deciding which seat to sit in.
Oh, okay, because you want to. Yep, got you. Yep, go ahead.
In the lookup window over here, we color code the players either green, black, or red based on how tight or loose they are. So green means they're loose. We have 3 loose players at this table, and then the black ones are like neutral, somewhere between loose and tight, and we have no red players, which is good. The more green players, the better. So this is a good table. We found it thanks to Lobby Edge.
Yep. Very nice. So how do you actually use this information, while you're playing? For example, the heads-up display.
Well, there's tons of information you can use depending on the scenario. Pretty much any given scenario. Like right now, if I was going to sit down, I would immediately know that the person to my left, if I sat in this seat right here, the guy to the left of me, Albellini Slim, this number right here is 73.0, means he folds his small blind to a raise 73% of the time. So based on that number alone, I would know I could attack his blinds if the opportunity arises. But just based on that, real-time game situations, I have a certain hand, someone raises, and someone re-raises. I would look at their stats to see how often they raise, how often they re-raise, and how strong their hand is usually when this happens. And I would use that to, base my decision on whether to fold or to continue playing the hand. Mm-hmm. Things like that arise all the time. That's how you squeeze money out of.
So what are these symbols? Like I see, it looks like a time bomb and a exclamation mark and so forth.
Right. These symbols we have a set of rules that determines the type of player each person is. These time bombs, we call them bombs, are usually aggressive and they see a lot of flops. So this table is a pretty aggressive table. But there's other icons, like a shark icon is your typical tight, aggressive player. There's none here. We have some maniac icons, which are, wild, see like every hand, raise every hand. You got the calling stations who, call you down with every hand. I think there's about 12 different player type icons, and it automatically puts them on there so you can reference that. Very
nice, yep. So I was curious about the showdowns. One of the things that I was impressed with was maybe you could show us a little more, tell us about how the showdown function works.
Yeah, definitely.
So I see we just got a fish Brooklyn Day there. Let's have a look at Brooklyn Day, the fish.
Brooklyn Day?
Yeah.
Okay. So you click the Showdowns tab. So you select their name here, and you can go to the Showdowns tab, where you see all these. You got a lot more stats over here in the main window. But I'm going to click Recent Showdowns, and you can see some of his previous hands he's played recently, and how he played them on every street. Yeah, for example, this hand, he had ace-10. He called under the gun. That's what position 1 stands for. He checked the flop. He got checked around. And then he called on the turn with ace-high. I don't know why. And then he checked the river, and he somehow won with ace-high.
Yep.
So let's go to a better hand. Mm. This hand, he had 2-8 suited. He was in the big blind. He called the flop with his pair of eights, and then he called the turn, and he called the river. He called all the way down, and he also won that hand.
Amazing.
Yeah, he's kind of a calling station. Guess we got a little lucky there.
Yeah.
But you can see how this can be useful. If you want to do some research on a player, you just bring up his recent showdowns and see how he plays certain types of hands and how things went down.
So how many of these recent showdowns do you keep on hand? How far back can you go?
Currently, we keep track of the last 10.
Oh, okay. All right.
There are plans in the future to expand that deeper.
Yep. Okay, that's a pretty cool feature.
Another feature we got here is it's called hand distribution. It's also in the main window under key stats. We can bring that up. It's kind of a histogram graph of the type of games he's played and how he's fared at each game level. So here he's played a lot of NL1. That stands for Big Blind 1 color. That's 50-cent dollar no limit. He's played about over 800 hands here. He's played about 300 hands for $2 no limit. And you can see how he's done at each level. He's been profitable, +2 BBs over 100. That's big best 1 per 100 hands at this level. And then he's been non-profitable, -4.93 at NL 200. different games he's played. Also, you can see he plays all short games. The full games will be indicated in a lighter blue color, which he hasn't played any. So this guy likes the short games, and he's been profitable at NL 100 and unprofitable at NL 200.
Interesting. Yep. Great. Okay. So I see we've.
One to point out is the filters over here. Because everybody plays different at different game types. Like, I know I play in a 10-handed game, I'll play, tighter than I would in a short-handed game, or, in a tournament, I'll play different than in a cash game. So over here in the filters, you can switch between tournament or cash game. You can change the game size from short or full, or you can look at both. You can change different stake levels, limit versus limit, and then set your filters. Then you hit the apply filter button, and then it'll update all the stats that you're seeing based on those filters. So you can see kind of how people play differently at different game types and how much they've won or lost at each level.
Interesting. Yep.
That's a pretty good research tool if you're trying to break down a certain player's tendencies.
Yep. Wow, that's a tremendous amount of information.
Yeah, it seems overwhelming at first to some people who aren't familiar with all the stats, but really there's only about 5 or 10 key statistics that you really need to know, and once you learn those, everything is just it's really simple and very convenient to use.
Yep. So one of the questions from the audience is, so why is it that the poker rooms, a few of the poker rooms, I guess I should say, don't seem to care for this tool that much? What's the issue that the poker rooms have with it? Why are they so? I guess the question here is, why are the sites so afraid of Poker Edge? This is the way that the question was worded.
Well, there's actually only 2 sites out of the 150 that we support that have any stance, against Poker Edge. And I guess the reason is, I guess they stated very clearly, is because they deem that it is an unfair advantage for the player. And I guess that scares off some of the more beginning players, which the poker site doesn't want to scare off. That's money for them. But there's no doubt about it. It is a very powerful tool. Fortunately, we have lots of players playing on these 2 sites still, and there have been no problems whatsoever. So they do coexist.
Yeah, and I noticed that you told me when we spoke before that as long as you launch poker rooms like PokerStars, Full Tilt, what have you, using the Poker Edge tool, if you launch the poker room, which you need to do anyway for it to monitor, you've got some stealth technology that actually prevents the poker rooms from even detecting Poker Edges there. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is true. We do have some security mechanisms in place such that other programs can't spy on what the users are doing on their computer. They won't be able to see Poker Edge. It's almost as if it's invisible on their computer. Mm-hmm.
Cool. So I've got is there anything else, Jason, that you wanted to take us through or show us here on the demo today?
Not that I can think of right now. I'd be happy to take some questions from the listeners.
Okay. Yeah, I've got a bunch of them here. So let me kind of rewind back and see if I can get past the ones here. Let's see here. Let's see. So is it really just cash or ring games or tournaments? I think you answered that one already. Looked like you could use it for both.
Yeah, it supports both cash games and sit-and-go tournaments and multi-table tournaments. You just want to adjust your filters accordingly. You can see data on either type of game, and it works the same way.
So I think the other question is, are you going to expand the number of sites that Lobby Edge scans, like PokerStars and Ultimate Bet, for example?
That's a good question. Lobby Edge is pretty new. We just introduced it a couple of months ago as a plugin. Right now it supports Full Tilt Poker, Bodog, and Party Poker. We will be adding more sites to that in the near future, but for now, yeah, it supports Full Tilt, Bodog, and Party. But the normal Poker Edge program without Lobby Edge supports all the other sites, including PokerStars, Ultimate Bet, everything you mentioned.
Okay, good. So another question by Terry is, can you customize the stat layout on the heads-up display and choose what you'd like to see? Like for example, 3-bet percentages, stuff like that.
Yeah, you talk about the heads-up display manager. Yeah, you can configure the heads-up display. If you look at the demo right now, I brought up the what we call the heads-up display manager, and you can pick different things. These are the nine stats that show up in the stat box. You can pick from any number of stats to put in each one.
Wow, how many stats are there? Looks like
I believe there's over 100.
Wow. Okay.
And down here is for the tooltips. When you hover your mouse over, it shows more stats. You can customize which ones show up. Maximum of 20 down here.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Nice. Very nice. Okay. Let's see. Next question. I'm confused by the yellow warning triangle next to a player. What is that, please?
The caution sign. That's just one of the icons we made up. That basically means that the player is he's passive pre-flop, but aggressive post-flop. I guess we use the caution sign because he doesn't really reveal what hand he has pre-flop. Like he could be sitting on pocket aces, and then he limps in, and then all of a sudden, you hit your top pair of queens, and you think you have the best hand, but this guy starts raising you after the flop, and he's got pocket aces, but you had no idea because he was so passive pre-flop. So that's where the caution sign comes from.
So here's an really interesting question from Joe. So have you guys at Poker Edge ever checked the randomness of the deals from the various poker rooms? Because there's a lot of speculation that the poker rooms card dealing's not random. There's too many pocket aces, or my pocket kings always get beat. Stuff like that. You hear about it constantly.
Right. Here, let me back to the previous question though. Real
okay.
Quick.
Yeah.
As far as the icons go, if you look at the demo right now, you can click on any of the icons, and you can see like what rules determine that particular icon, and then you can add new icons, you can add new configurations, you can pick one of like any of these icons and change the rules that define like what determines what icon. So this is pretty. A lot of people like to have fun with this and create their own like configurations and trade them around.
Wow, that's
impressive. Yeah, to answer the last question, we actually hear that all the time. And the simple answer is our data shows that everything is true and safe. We obviously haven't gone through every possible scenario, but with the little analysis that we have done, everything seems pretty legit, at least at the major sites, which is where most of our data is.
Yep. So another question, does Poker Edge work at Ultimate Bet?
Ultimate Bet?
Yep.
Yes, it most certainly does. We have lots of players on Ultimate Bet, actually.
Okay. How do you hide your own data from others? Is this always advisable? I presume that it is.
As a member of Poker Edge, one of the cool things you can do is you can hide your stats from other Poker Edge members. It's just done through the web login. You log in with your username and password, and you specify which name you want to be hidden, and then none of the other Poker Edge users can see any of your stats. And some people like to do this. They play in stealth mode. Some people are proud of their stats. They're like, I'm a shark icon. I'm proud of that. They don't want to hide their stats so everyone can see that. It really just depends on the player if they want to do it or not.
Okay, so another question is, hi, I'm a beginning player. How's the customer service, and will there be, someone there to hold my hand or help me out through the learning curve?
That's a great question. I'm actually going to hand this off to Chad, who's in charge of our customer relations. Chad?
Hey, Rick. Not only do we provide 24/7 customer service through email support and also live web support, but our forums are full of members who actually like to help out each other, and we have discussions all the time going on with how to use stats, how to learn what the stats are. We have full information on what each stat means, how they're used in combinations. So, we try to help each other out, and because of the way that Poker Edge is, we're all constantly learning how each of these stats provide hidden meanings that we didn't even know before.
Very cool. Well, that sounds great. Hey, Chad, while we got you on the line, I've got another question for you. So you deal with a lot of customers in the forums and all that, I presume. So what kind of results and stories do you hear from Poker Edge customers in terms of what kind of results are they getting?
Well, all the time. I mean, it's like a daily thing that I hear from customers, and some of them that have been around since I've actually started with Jason. They actually like taken it to like a semi-professional level. I hear of people playing higher and higher stakes each day. Also starting their own poker blogs and coming up with new things of not only poker itself, but how to otherwise make money with poker. Just the other day, I got the story of someone who went ahead and decided to get in a $1,000 sit and go, and came in second place and scored $2,000 off of it. So
wow,
it's everything about it.
Well, that sounds great. Anything else that you hear from customers you'd like to share with us?
Since Lobby Edge came out, there's like hidden, like I was saying with the forums, there's hidden uses we find with Poker Edge all the time. Like one of the things that when Jason was going over as far as table selection, you can actually open up and see all the players on a table. The hidden use for that is you can see if people are multi-tabling, and in that regard, you can see if you can make more moves against people who are sitting at more than one table.
I see. Yeah, that's a very interesting use, isn't it?
But even more than that, not only does Poker Edge provide information on other players, but people have found it really useful as far as tracking their own game and finding out where their own leaks are. And one of the things I espouse is actually annotating game histories. And through that and through discussion on the forum, people have really started to improve their game in that way.
Okay, excellent. I appreciate it, Chad.
Thanks, Rick.
So I've got some more questions here, probably, Jason, for you. Is there a manual for Poker Edge? It says I've been able to use Poker Edge, but I want to get the most out of it, and I'd like to read anything else that will help. What would you recommend for Chris?
Yeah, we have some user guides that are found on our website. Chad's actually put together a really good user guide. In addition to that, on the forum, there's a few like how-to guides, as well as if you ever have a question, you can just, even a beginner question, we actually encourage that a lot. Just ask in the forum. There'll be like 5 people that'll be there to help you immediately. Or shoot an email over to support@poker-edge.com, and Chad will be happy to help you out.
Excellent. So I got a question here from Lisa. I'm not sure if we can answer this one, but why in tournament play does it seem that the all-ins go to the chip leaders? You have any stats for that?
That's a good question. I guess when you're running good, you're running good. But truthfully, it's just the luck of the draw. I mean, you see it happen all the time. I think you remember the bad beats, and you don't remember the good ones.
That's right. We tend to take the good ones for granted when we're lucky, don't we?
Right.
So let's see here. Let's see. I currently use Poker Tracker and PA Heads-Up Display. Your software interface looks great and easy to use. I'm still concerned about getting my account closed if I use this tool. Poker Tracker uses data of hands I'm in, and there's no rule against this, but your tool uses other data that some people have rules against data mining. Is this a valid concern?
Well, we actually have lots of users that use both Poker Tracker and Poker Edge at the same time, and it is a very lethal combo using both of them. But as far as the concern goes about getting your account shut down, all I can say is we've been in business for 3 years, and we've never had a customer get his account shut down and funds seized. So.
Yeah, and if I could step in here just for a second, Rick, I kind of like to address that because at a certain point in my life, I was actually a tournament chess player. And, I've been thinking about this a lot since there are some poker rooms that are against our software. And my question to them is, what game of competition or other sport do you know of where information on other players that you haven't directly played against is considered unfair? I had like a group of people gathering information on other players before tournament games,
Yeah, well, obviously it's just each poker room kind of makes their own policy decisions on these things, right? It's kind of what it is. So, but yeah. So, and we've had a couple of folks in our new poker club who've tried Poker Edge, and I don't know. I guess they used it without launching the program, or they did something that caused them to be detected, and then they got a warning email from PokerStars, but PokerStars has never done anything about it, like you said. So.
Yeah, they like to send out a lot of empty threats, but yeah, I wouldn't be too concerned about that.
So another.
We send out PokerStars every day, in fact, and we have a lot that we don't want to lose in our accounts. Yeah, make sure you launch PokerStars through the PokerEdge client, because then our security's in place and you're in stealth mode.
Yep. Cool. So let's see here. Do you have to pay extra for Lobby Edge? I guess it's kind of general questions about the pricing and kind of how that's structured.
Right. Well, okay, so PokerEdge is a monthly subscription. We have 3 different levels of membership. There's the micro for like the world low stakes, the silver for low to middle stakes, and the gold for the high stakes players. So that's a monthly membership fee, and it varies based on how many months you buy at a time. And then Lobby Edge is a plug-in, and it's a one-time fee. If you purchase Lobby Edge with your PokerEdge subscription at the time of purchase, it's $99. If you purchase it later, like as an add-on, it's $150. But again, that's a one-time fee, and Lobby Edge will work as long as your PokerEdge membership is active forever.
Very cool. Okay. So, and is there a free trial that people can get a hold of?
Yeah, you just go to our website and you download the software for free, and then you click the free trial button, and you have 5 free days of functionality, and you can get to use the stats, everything.
Excellent. So it looks like we've gone through just about all of the questions from the audience. Audience, do you have any other questions? I'm still sitting here looking and waiting. If you've got some other questions for these guys, let's see here. Will Royal Flush Club members in the future have a discount for the product? Well, that's a really good question, Peter. And as I'm going to actually talk about that in a minute. But yeah, we've got a special a bonus deal or coupon discount deal for 25% off that we've worked out with the PokerEdge folks for Royal Flush Club members and customers. So, and I'll bring that up here on the screen here in just a second. Any other questions before we jump back into the rest of the presentation? Looks like they're about out of questions. I'm not seeing any. Oh, maybe a couple more popped in here. Let's see. Do those who have PokerEdge already get the discount? So I think I know the answer to that one. But you guys can tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, the coupon code for Royal Flush Club is for new members.
Okay, and that's actually, it applies to everything that you purchase on your checkout. So whatever you put in your shopping cart for that first purchase, right?
Right, it's 25% off your first purchase. So if you buy a full year of PokerEdge Gold and a Lobby Edge plugin, you can potentially save yourself a lot of money.
Yep. So I see, here's another question. I see in the Lobby Edge winnings column you have plus and minus figures. How do you arrive at that? Obviously, if someone's winning or someone's losing, but what's that?
That's based on the historical data in our database.
So this is their historical winnings or losings at that same stakes level. Is that right?
Based on your current filter settings. So for this would be 3 to 6 players, 50-cent dollar, no limit on full tilt.
Okay, so you'd get a different readout if you on that same player if you switched the stakes or went from limit to no limit, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Okay. So got a comment here from Mark. He said, "Hey, just a comment. I'm fired up to take a look at the demo. We'll do so ASAP." So that's great, Mark. And you can do that obviously by going to poker-edge.com, and I'll give you guys the coupon code here in a minute. So if you use this product, how do you protect yourself from other similar programs? Not sure.
Well, like I said earlier, you can hide your screen name from other PokerEdge users. It's just done through the web page. Once you have a username and password, you log in and you can set your name to hidden. But as far as other programs out there, like I said earlier, PokerEdge is a very unique product. None others utilize like such a central database. There's other programs that will have very limited data based on if you played against a person before. So it'd be pretty hard to protect yourself from that. But again, that's very limited data.
Okay, so I have another question here saying that only people that would use this type of program are good winning players, if I'm understanding the question here. So, yeah, it seems like they're asking, so it seems kind of pointless because only people who would use this type of program are good winning players. I'm not quite sure I follow that.
That's actually not true. We have lots of ranges of players from beginner to intermediate to advanced. PokerEdge is not going to win money for you by itself. I mean, you still need to know how to make sense of these statistics and how to use them. So by itself, it's not going to win you money. But if applied correctly, and like Chad said, we have a lot of people learning on the forum how to use the stats better to their advantage. Well, then in that case, it'll help the advanced player and the beginning player. And also getting stats on yourself and learning about your own game, like weaknesses, strengths, where to improve, analyzing your own game based on your own stats is very important for the beginning player to advance.
Let's see, is there a way to tell how much a person has lost in that particular session that you're in with them, as opposed to, I guess, over their lifetime of being monitored?
That's a really good question. In the current version of PokerEdge, we do not have a filter setting for that. But in the next release, PE 5.0, you will be able to see, we'll be able to compare current session stats versus historical stats. And of course, anyone who joins PE now will have free upgrades to PE 5.
Oh, okay.
All software upgrades are free.
So let's see, will we get the same LobbyEdge winning stats on our own account?
Yes. Download the demo right now, and you can have it within a few minutes. Once you're a PokerEdge member, if you get the LobbyEdge plugin, you see exactly what I see.
See, do you get the same product if you get it for free through joining a poker room site? I got mine for signing up with CD Poker. Is it a limited product that I have, or is it the same product?
It's the exact same product, but the amount of time you have it for is 3 months. So you get it free for 3 months, fully functional. You can play at any site you want, and then once those 3 months are up, if you want to continue, you can renew.
Okay. How difficult would it be to add pot odds, implied odds, and other statistical info on the player's odds in winning a particular hand?
That's actually something that we've had a lot of requests for. It would not be very difficult, actually. But there's a similar product called Hold'em Hawk, which is basically a pot odds calculator, which works in conjunction with PokerEdge. A lot of our members are using that. You can download it and try it at hold'emhawk.com. But right now, PokerEdge doesn't show pot odds directly.
Okay, I see.
That is, for the future.
Okay, good idea there. Hey, so another question. Terry keeps coming back. I guess he's trying to clarify his original question. So he means if you're the subscriber, you can hide your own stats from search by others who are using the tool, right? He says that's why he was thinking that it was sort of pointless because the good players, you'd want to check each other's good players' stats, but people who are using the tool, if they understand that they can hide their own stats, it seems kind of pointless. I think that's.
No, because you'd be surprised. You very rarely see. You very rarely run into another PokerEdge user that has their stats hidden. Like I might open up 20 tables, and I might find 1 or 2 tables that have like one person with their stats blocked. There's just so many. There's millions of players out there, and thousands of customers.
Yep. Gotcha. So we could
take a huge ocean, and we're just a few sharks swimming around in the ocean.
Yep. Makes a lot of sense. Great. Well, I think we've burned through the rest of the questions, so I guess we'll give people one last chance for any other questions. We've still got a few more minutes left here. Okay, here we go. How do you know if someone has their stats blocked? Is it just zeros or blanks in the box, or how do you know?
Okay, so you'll notice if you look at the live demo, all these guys have numbers in their box. If someone is hidden, they will still have an icon. Like you'll be able to see that they're a bomb or a caution sign or a maniac, but all the other numbers will be 0. Number of hands will say NA. And the same with in this lookup window here. Right now it shows all their stats, but if his stuff is blocked, it'll show NA and 0.
So another question, Jason. How do you actually go in to block your own stats from being seen? Is that easy to do?
Yeah, it's very easy to do. You go in through the web login. Basically, from our website, you click support, and then there's a web login. You log in with your username and password, and then there's a link to hide your stats. Or shoot an email over to support at poker-edge.com. The chat will hook you up.
Gotcha. Let's see, another question. Is it hard work for the computer CPUs? In other words, is it put a big load on your system?
No, not at all. Poker Edge was actually designed to be very streamlined. If you notice, our windows we try to keep them small and out of the way. So, utilizing system resources was one of our main priorities when creating the program. So people play 16 tables at a time, and they're running Poker Edge, and they have no problems.
So we have one here. It says, "Let's see him play a match and take advantage of the product." I guess they want to see you jump in and play here. We unfortunately don't have time for that today, but actually you can see me playing and using Poker Edge on the RoyalFlushClubMembers.com site, where I've actually recorded a session. I'll go back and record some more sessions and show you guys how I use the product. But yeah, so I think the best thing to do is actually download the free trial and try it yourself. That you'll get more value that way. So if you hide your stats, looks like this is next to the last question. If you hide your stats, will you all, as the user, be able to actually see your own stats?
Yes, of course. You will always be able to see your own stats, for your own reference and to analyze your own game.
Okay, last question. Have there been any or many blips with this product? Not quite sure what you mean by blip there, Ann, but if you can clarify that, maybe outages or, I'm not sure what you mean by blips. Times when it displays, times when it displays any kind of false info, for instance.
Well, the numbers come from the hand histories, so, the data is accurate. If you have a smaller sample size, sometimes it might not be as accurate as you want it to be, but, it comes from the hand histories. It's all based on what they did in the past. Yep.
Excellent. Well, Jason, man, I've been pelting you with questions here as they've been hammering me with them here. We've got a lot of great questions that we hadn't practiced for or anticipated. So this is all the real deal here, folks, and you got the real answers from Jason. So, hey, man, I appreciate you doing all this and spending the time here. I think what I'm going to do, Jason, is go ahead and switch the screen back over to me as the presenter here. And
all right. Sounds good.
I really appreciate it. Just 1 second here. Yep. Here we go. Great job, Jason and Chad. Thank you very much. So we talked about this special coupon, and basically, as I understand it, Jason, when you go to check out at your site, you type in Royal FC 25, and that's the coupon they use to get the discount.
Right. Well, new members, you go to the order page, you select the product you want, you advance to the checkout page, and under the order summary, it will be a place for you to enter a coupon code. That's where you put in Royal FC 25.
Yep.
You'll get 25% off the entire order.
Yep. Great. Hey, man, I really appreciate it. Oh, the other thing, just before I forget, so we talked about a drawing. We're going to have a number of giveaways today for the folks that actually were able to attend the live event. I have a record in GoToWebinar of who actually was able to attend the event, and I don't want to do it right now because it'll just take too much time, but after the event we will go through and randomly select the 4 winners. The first 3 will get 3 free copies of Poker Edge, which will include gold subscription for 3 months plus Lobby Edge included. And then also we're giving away a 1-year Poker Underground subscription for the RoyalFlushClubMembers.com site. So appreciate everybody joining us today, and it's been a very informational, very intense discussion here, Jason, and you guys really know your stuff, and it's a fantastic tool for anybody who wants to go out there and really find the best tables to play at, and have that. It's an interesting product. It's actually named very interesting, Poker Edge, because it does appear to give you various edges, when you're at the table and picking the tables you want to play at. So it's a great tool. I appreciate you guys spending the time with us and being with us here today, and appreciate everybody for joining us. And this will be made available in recorded format in a few days once I have an opportunity to edit it and get it published. So with that, just want to say thank you, and everybody, hope you have a great evening and a great day, and we will see you again next time.
All right, Rick. Well, please let me know any feedback from your users. We're always trying to, improve the product to suit our customers.
Absolutely. Will do, man. You guys take care.
Thanks for having us.
You bet. Thank you. See ya.